So the next thing I want to talk about is management, because we were just talking about Elon Musk, right? Looking at a company's management is really important because they're the main driver. They're going to be making the main decisions for the company. So it's important to ask yourself these questions. Who runs the company? What is their professional background? For instance, do you want somebody who has no prior knowledge of an industry to be running a company that you're investing in, or would you feel more comfortable if this guy has spent 30 years in the industry, working his way up, and has greater in-depth knowledge of the industry? Also, what is their management philosophy? This is really important. This is what I pay a good chunk of my time to. It's in their 10K, and it's labeled Annual Report Management Discussion Analysis. Some title like this. And what it's basically going to do is going to tell you what the company is trying to do and their growth prospects, or how they're trying to fix or grow the company in the next year. So as I said, I was looking through Burlington's 10K, and this is an example that I gave, or I'm giving y'all, on what you can expect to find on their management philosophy. So it talks about how they find their inventory, basically what they do, and this is how you can understand their business model also. What they basically do is they buy excess inventory that might be out of season from your major retailers. So for instance, your JCPenney, your Kohl's, whenever they can't sell something, guess who's there to buy it? Your discount retailers. And they buy it for pennies on the dollar, and then they resell it. So if you're looking at a environment where you're not confident in the retail space, right? They're not being able to sell their inventory, then the next best thing is Burlington, because they're going to capitalize and make money off of those mistakes or off of that weakness from those main retailers. So he talks about basically how they do it and how they're going to get better at doing that. So they're creating basically a scan system where they're keeping track of what sells and what doesn't, so they can buy more of a high demand item in the future. This will also include, this is just a really small one that I had, but it also includes growth prospects, etc. So I know this is really boring to go through, but there's so much valuable information that people constantly overlook. Is there any questions that y'all have about any of these? Looking at management.
So they always go to these stores and get the things from there, or do they also have other suppliers?
They can have a ton of other suppliers, but their main business model is to buy maybe last season's inventory or something that didn't sell, that's been on the sell rack for a while that they just couldn't get their hands off of. A company like Burlington will buy truckloads worth of that inventory for pennies on the dollar. And then they will ship it across, remarket, and of course make a profit. Their profit margin is around 40%. And their main profit after everything else is about 7%. So after they've paid their overhead and everything else, they're making about 7 to 8% on every item of clothing that they sell. And I'll go through on how you can actually find these numbers. Accounting is so important to fundamental analysis. It's going to take most of the next 2 weeks meeting, and I just wanted to kind of ease y'all in this week. So I wanted to look at the industry, management, and a little bit of accounting. So accounting is so important because it's the language. It's how we can understand how a business is operating, where their money's coming from, where they're losing money, their weaknesses, their strengths, what they're doing with their cash, etc. We can all tell that from their accounting numbers, which isn't shown in their price most of the time. So we can understand the inner workings of the company a lot better through accounting. So, any other questions?
So these retail stores, they're robbing you, selling $70. I mean, a pair of shorts for $70 then, right? So if they don't sell it, they'll sell it to Burlington sometime for maybe, if it's priced at 70, maybe they'll, I guess, 30 or so.
Way less than that.
Way less than
that.
Then it actually
maybe $5 or less dollars. I would assume, to be honest with you.
And then they'll sell it for like 30 or something.
They'll sell it for 20 or 30.
Yeah. I mean, it's already cheap at Burlington,
right?
Which means and with 40% margin, it's already cheap. That means to think about how much do they buy it.
So from my understanding, you would have your regular retail, say they're trying to sell this shirt, right? And say it's $50, They can't sell it, they hold it through the season, then it goes on the sale rack. Then they keep marking it down, and keep marking it down. At some point, they're gonna pull it off, and they just want cash. They just are tired of dealing with it. That's whenever Burlington or a discount retailer like that steps in and buys for pennies on the dollar, because they're just trying to liquidate their inventory at that point.
Would they ever sell below their cost price?
Yeah,
Let's say
for
if this-
sure.
Okay.
For sure. I mean, they could, just because they want the cash to be able to invest in something else.
Okay.
So they might have paid $5 and they might sell it to Burlington for $4. They might incur a loss, but to them, the loss might be greater. The $4 cash might be better than a shirt that they're just gonna sit on. Does that make sense? So that's kind of their business model, which really makes sense to me. If you walk into Burlington, it's still great clothes, exactly the same clothes that you find in your regular retail stores, but for a quarter of the price. So, it's not like the product's watered down any, but the business model is just genius, because all they're doing is just buying inventory that they couldn't flip. So, any other questions about their business model? Like I said, I'll go through more. I'm kind of showing you how to do real life fundamental analysis and how to look into a company, the questions that you should be asking yourself when you're trying to dive into fundamental analysis on a real company. So you kind of understand the business model of Burlington or the discount retailers? Okay, awesome. And I've also looked at their leadership, if y'all were wondering, their management. I'll go ahead and touch on this for y'all. Their management, their CEO, is actually a guy that they stole from, I think, TJ Maxx or Ross, who has spent his entire career in the discount retail space. They've also got an amazing team of traders. They have a guy who actually trades from a wealth management company who helps with their finances. Their whole team has been structured around discounting goods on wholesale in large companies. So they have a really solid team, and their management philosophy is great. If you look through their 10K, they're opening 30 to 40 stores, which accounts for about 4 to 5% business growth per year. And they're also on that's brand new stores. So they might be opening 60 to 70 and relocating 30 of those. So they have a very active management team who's constantly striving for growth. So their business philosophy is great. The last 10K that I read through, they were talking about expanding their women's inventory, because they felt like that most of their customers are women and that they need to do a little bit more accessory-wise for women, for earrings, necklaces, etc. They thought that was a weakness. So this is just an idea of what you can actually find in these 10Ks and through fundamental analysis. Like I said, we already know Burlington's business model, and we haven't even touched on any accounting, right? So just the difference between fundamental and technical analysis is just catastrophic. I mean, you're looking at not catastrophic, sorry. It's just a world different apart. You're looking at a stock graph versus an actual company that you can understand and what they're actually trying to do to grow.
So Burlington can sell anything that's not food.
They sell home appliances. They also mentioned their weaknesses. So they sell like kitchen appliances and anything discounting. They said that that's a space where they are competing heavily.
Anything that doesn't expire with time, something like that.
Right.
People are willing to buy.
I don't think they do food.
Yeah,
I've
anything
never
but
seen
food.
food in one of their stores. But
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Anything but food.